Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Nepali year 2081 begins from today. Nepalese across the country and elsewhere mark the day with celebrations and exchange of greetings. The decade of 2070 BS spent amid political instability and devastating natural disasters, strengthening the administrative mechanism and ensuring prosperity goals for the new decade. US President Joe Biden says he expects Iran to attack Israel sooner than later, says US is devoted to defense of Israel and that Iran will not succeed. And 4 matches slated under the Premier Cup for today. Nepal looks for a second win as it faces Qatar at 4:15 p.m. Nepal time. Nepalese year 2081 has begun from today as Nepalese across the country and elsewhere are celebrating the day with much fanfare. General public also tend to begin new projects on the auspicious occasion. Most clean themselves, their houses, visit temples and share delicacies to mark the day. It is generally believed that a good New Year's Day is likely to shape the whole year in the same way. The Nepalese year Bikram Samvat comes from Vikramaditya and has been used since the Malla dynasty. With the beginning of the Nepali New Year 2081 today, we have stepped into a brand new decade. However, looking back, Nepali politics remained unstable in the decade between 2070 to 80. With the government leadership lost by the political parties following the dissolution of First Constituent Assembly, the decade had begun with uncertainties. Politics returned to form after the second election of the Constituent Assembly held on November 19, 2013 by the Council of Ministers chaired by Chief Justice Khilraj Regmi. However, it took 2 years for the promulgation of Nepal's constitution. The nation was then rocked by the biggest earthquake of the century in the country on April 25, 2015. More than 9,000 were killed while hundreds of thousands of structures were destroyed. Political uncertainties remained even after the massive 7.6 magnitude earthquake. Unity among the parties in facing the earthquake led to the promulgation of Constitution on September 20, 2015. It was that moment which pushed the nation towards federal democratic republicanism. However, expressing dissatisfaction towards the same constitution, neighboring India imposed a border blockade. Facing the problems caused by the embargo, general elections were held for the first time in Nepal across the federal, 7 provincial and 753 local levels in 2017. Local levels and provinces had their own government in the first step of the implementation of federalism. CPN-UML and CPN-Maoist Centre united to form the most powerful government since that of BP Koirala in 1959. However, that unity did not last long. Disputes escalated and the party disintegrated on 7th of March 2021 on the basis of the verdict of Supreme Court. Erstwhile Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli tried to dissolve the lower house on 2 occasions, which was termed unconstitutional by the Apex Court. The frustrations of the downfall of strong government chosen by the people after disintegration of the Nepal Communist Party continue to exist today as well. And then came the global coronavirus pandemic. The first case of COVID-19 was reported in Nepal on January 24, 2020, after which more than 12,000 people have died because of the virus so far. The long period of lockdown severely damaged the national economy, the impact of which continues to be felt. Meanwhile, the administrative map of Nepal, including Limpiadhura, Kalapani and Lipu Lake, encroached by India, was published in this decade as well. It was another case where the political parties stood in unity. In the second general elections, Nepali Congress, CPN-Maoist Centre and CPN Unified Socialist, among other parties, formed a coalition, while CPN-UML had to contest alone in many places. It was the same election where independent candidates like Balendra Shah and Harka Sambang emerged as winners at the local levels. Rashtra Swatantra Party came up as an alternative force with a strong presence at the parliament. Janamat Party left behind old forces in Madhesh. With new faces and forces creating hope, the familiar ones were busy in their ploys, because of which stability was not ensured. Political parties also stood together at times to protect their members alleged of corruption and irregularities, while remained apart for their power aspirations. Major cases including Lalita Niwas land grab scam, fake Bhutanese refugee scam and gold smuggling cases made regular headlines. Investigation into these cases saw Nepali Congress leader Balkrishna Khan, CPN UML leader Top Bahadur Rai Maji and CPN Maoist Center leader Krishna Bahadur Mahara, among other influential leaders, arrested. Government initiatives for creation of employment opportunities remained a failure, while the pace for reviving the national economy never really gained momentum. Notable progress was not achieved in social justice and good governance, but the governments reiterated their slogans of prosperity and development. The exodus of 700,000 Nepali nationals to seek employment opportunities elsewhere is an evidence to public frustration. Periodic elections, inclusive proportionate mechanism and implementation of federalism were a few positives, alongside social security program for the workers and initiation of construction of hospitals at each local level. However, issues of transitional justice were not settled the decade as well. Now, following pressure from all quarters, the Ministry of Labour, Employment and Social Security introduced a regulation to include those in the informal sector in the Social Security program. This was on 11th of December 2022. Based on the regulation, local levels would support for a certain portion on behalf of the informal sector workers. However, the program that concerns over 4 million workers has failed to produce result due to feeble implementation. Around 104 local levels have signed an agreement under the Social Security Fund. They have, however, not registered informal workers and provided the minimum support. In 16 months since the regulation, around 782,000 migrant workers have enlisted in the fund, which has a total of 1,274,000 workers as of now. It's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, what do you term the decision to end the parliament session by leaving the bills stranded? Your options are A, fear of the opposition, B, compulsion after being encircled, and C, weak parliament leadership. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. In our Public Voice segment, we've asked people in several provinces about their plans for the new Nepali year 2081. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
समाजमा आफ्नो अवश्य अनुसारको सहयोग गर्ने र दुःख पीडामा परेका मान्छेहरुको आफ्नो क्षमता अनुसारको सहयोग गर्ने।
मेरो त एक्जाम चलिरहेको भएर म त पढ्छु भनेर बसिरहेको छु अनि मन्दिरहरु ढोकेर अनि सबैको आशीर्वाद लिने।
यो साललाई हामीले राम्ररी सेलिब्रेट गर्ने, राम्ररी पढ्ने लेख्ने।
हाम्रो त पसल हो नास्ताको, त्यसमा कस्टमरलाई राम्रोसित डिल गर्ने, राम्रो मिठो मिठो खुवाउने।
कुन कामलाई कसरी व्यवस्थित बनाउने भन्ने तयारीमा म छु।
घुम्न जाने, साथीभाइहरुसँग भेटघाट गर्ने,
घुम्न जाने अनि पढ्ने।
नयाँ वर्षमा चाहिँ मासु माछा ल्याएर खाने, घरमा बनाएर अनि खुसीले बस्ने,
व्यापार व्यवसाय गर्ने, सामाजिक कामहरु गर्ने।
नयाँ साल एकदमै राम्ररी मनाऊ।
Problems have surfaced in implementation after errors were found in the report prepared by the Investigation Commission formed to probe the gold smuggling case. The Commission had spent 5 months to prepare the report, and despite the decision of the Council of Ministers to implement the report, it has now been stranded after serious errors were discovered. A complaint has also been filed at the Ministry of Home Affairs, challenging the findings of the report prepared by the Commission. Serious questions were raised on national security after 60 kilograms of gold was confiscated from the Trivandrum International Airport on 18th of July last year and smuggling of the precious yellow metal through electric cigarettes from Dubai. The government had formed an investigation commission led by former High Court Judge Dilli Raj Acharya after the involvement of organized international mafia was found to smuggle gold into Nepal. Problems have surfaced after factual errors were discovered in the report prepared by the Commission after spending 5 months. Additional investigations have remained halted after factual questions were raised during the implementation of the 485-page report. Acharya-led Commission had recommended for actions against erstwhile Chief of Central Investigation Bureau Kiran Bajracharya, SP Sanjay Thapa and DSP Duo Rugam Kumar and Durga Dahal. The Ministry of Home Affairs had formed another committee to recommend actions against them. However, the recommendation committee has stepped back after DSP Kuwar filed a complaint at the Home Ministry by raising questions on the facts furnished by the report. In addition to discrepancies related to telephone call records, Kuwar was not a member of the team of 42 police personnel deployed for investigation into the gold smuggling case. The commission is also alleged of including a message with assumptions sent by a journalist without any fact-checking and verification in the report as an evidence. The probe commission has also not included the evidences gathered by the Department of Revenue investigation after 20 days of probe into the 60-kilogram gold smuggling. Customs agent Rajendra Rai was arrested from the airport on the day the gold was confiscated on July 18th. The same person, Rajendra, was alleged of helping the Chinese group to escape, but the commission has not included this in its report. When the Department of Revenue investigation had arrested Belgian citizen with Chinese origin Dawa Chiring, it had released Amala Roka, who was with him. The department had raided Hotel Vienna established by Dawa in the name of Amala in Tamil. This information has also not been included in the commission's report. CPN Maoist Center Deputy Chair Krishna Bahadur Mahara, against whom the commission had recommended action, was arrested following the directive of the Home Minister. A strong relationship between Mahara and Chinese national Dao Jiwang, considered another major gold smuggler who had been residing in Nepal for 7 years, was seen. However, as the commission recommended actions against Mahara without identifying him as the mastermind, the case against him is likely to be weak. A source at the Home Ministry has said that even Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has paid interest, as the report does not have any clarity regarding the basis for actions recommended. The Commission also had the jurisdiction of taking actions on the basis of evidences. However, complications have surfaced as the need for additional investigation has been identified because the Commission only furnished recommendations, and dilemma persists regarding if there are factual evidences. Now, doubts have increased regarding if those involved in the gold smuggling case will walk scot-free. Moving on to international update, US President Joe Biden has said he expects Iran to attack Israel sooner than later as fears grow of Iranian retaliation over an airstrike that killed top commanders earlier this month. Israel has not admitted attacking an Iranian consulate in Syria, but is widely believed to have been behind it. US officials have said that a major attack on Israel could happen imminently. Israel says it is ready to defend itself. Biden says US is devoted to the defense of Israel and that Iran will not succeed. Iran backs Hamas, the Palestinian group fighting Israel in Gaza, as well as various proxy groups throughout the region, including some such as Hezbollah in Lebanon that have carried out strikes against Israel. On Friday, Hezbollah said it had launched dozens of rockets from Lebanon towards Israel. An Israel Defense Force spokesperson said around 40 missiles and 2 explosive drones had been launched. No casualties were reported, and there were no indications of involvement from other actors. The mounting tensions have led countries including the US, UK, India and Australia to warn against travel to Israel. Germany called on its citizens to leave Iran. The US Department also barred diplomatic staff and their families in Israel from traveling outside the cities of Tel Aviv, Jerusalem and Beersheba. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has met members of his war cabinet amid the warnings. 13 people were killed in the 1st of April missile attack on Iranian consulate in Damascus. They included senior Iranian military leaders, a senior commander of Iran's elite Quds force in Syria and Lebanon. Meanwhile, the war in Gaza was sparked when Hamas attacked Israeli communities near the Gaza Strip, killing about 1,139 people, most of them civilians, and taking more than 250 hostage. Israel says that of the 130 hostages still in Gaza, at least 34 are dead. More than 33,600 Gazans, the majority of them civilians, have been killed during Israel's campaign in Gaza, the Hamas-run health ministry has said. A new ruling by Argentina's highest criminal court has blamed Iran for the fatal 1994 attack against the AMI Jewish Community Center in Buenos Aires, declaring it a crime against humanity in a decision that paves the way for victims to seek justice. The judges ruled that the bombing of the Argentine-Israeli Mutual Association, AMIA, the deadliest of its kind in the country's history that killed 85 people and left hundreds injured, was carried out by armed group Hezbollah and responded to a political and strategic design by Iran. Representatives from Argentina's Jewish community said that the court ruling was a great news because it opened the doors for victims' relatives to bring lawsuits against the Islamic Republic. However, AMIA President Amos Linetsky said that both the judiciary and the organization had already reiterated the direct intervention of Iran with its armed wing Hezbollah in this attack. President Javier Milei celebrated the ruling, saying this was a significant step that put an end to decades of delays and cover-ups in an official statement. Argentina's judiciary has long maintained Iran was behind the attack, but joint investigations and Interpol arrest warrants have led nowhere. Iran has refused to turn over citizens convicted in Argentina. Tehran has denied involvement. Prosecutors in the report charged top Iranian officials and Hezbollah members with ordering the bombing as well as an attack in 1992 against the Israeli embassy in Argentina, which helped kill 22 people. Almost 100,000 people have been evacuated due to floods in Kazakhstan as rapidly warming temperatures melted heavy snow and ice and dislodged trapped water and mud in places. Flooding this month hit more than half of this country's regions, and a state of emergency remained in effect in 8 out of Kazakhstan's 17 provinces. Elsewhere, one person was killed and 7 others were injured in the southern Turkish province of Antalya after a cable car cabin collided with a broken pole. In a statement on social media platform X, the governor's office said the injured were transferred to nearby hospitals for treatment and that 24 cabins were suspended in the air. Emergency rescue units have evacuated 40 people from 7 cable car cabins, and efforts continue to evacuate 134 people stranded in others. Helicopters and other vehicles were dispatched to the scene for evacuation efforts from the cable car line. According to information on its website, the cable car has 36 cabins with a capacity of 6 people each, and it takes an average of 9 minutes to go uphill to Nektepe facility with panoramic views of the city of Antalya. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Happy New Year.